Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to David Lim about S.W.A.T on CBS. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Yo, thanks for having me, Peter. I appreciate it.
Do you think it's officially hit you and your amazing cast and crew how there's actually already 5 seasons of the show? Like, has it ever hit you that you've been doing it for that many seasons so far?
It never has quite sunk in. I have this conversation a lot with Alex because we're a similar age, and we've kind of watched each other grow up on this show. I'm like, Alex, you're still 30 years old, right? And he's like, no, man, I'm like 34, dude. I was 30 when we started the show. So, oh, that's right. We've been on the show for 4.5 years. We all went to college together. So it's awesome. Not many shows make it, past one season, let alone seasons. We're going to hit 100 episodes this year, which is a huge milestone. And we're all very, very proud to be part of S.W.A.T.
And I feel like it's pretty cool because I feel like you're on a show that doesn't really have a shelf life or expiration date. I mean, people can go back and rewatch. Obviously, there's a story, and the stories kind of change every season and grow. But you can go back and just watch like your favorite episode from season 2 and just go back. Like, have you thought about that at all?
That's great to hear.
Yeah.
You know, I think our show will always stand up because from the get-go, we talk about stuff that's happening in the world today. So whatever happens in this crazy world, through season 5 and 6, and if people want to continue to watch and see the show 7, who knows how many seasons we can go, but we can continue to tell amazing and relevant stories because we talk about issues that are happening today. So if it can go on for as long as the fans want it to go on.
It's crazy. I mean, just to simplify it, I mean, if it wasn't for the S.W.A.T fans, there won't be S.W.A.T, right? That's all we have to say.
I mean, it pretty much, we depend on your viewership, right? That's how network if nobody's tuning in, then we don't have a show. So, but it's been great to see that our show has resonated, not only here in the States, but also around the world in Canada, where you're located. And, we've shot in Mexico, we've shot in Tokyo, Japan in season 3. And my wife and I love to travel, and we've met fans around the world. And the number one thing I always get is, we love the show. We love S.W.A.T.
Is that the standout in terms, because they're saying, David, that we're in the golden age of content in TV and film because the quality's just been amazing and there's so many amazing stories that are being told. I honestly feel like the standout, the reason why it's so amazing right now is kind of what you just touched on a little bit, the global access, the ability of many countries around the world to be able to, interact, watch, and check it out. Like, is it safe to say that's a standout, do you feel like? Like there's the great stories, but that's huge, right? The global access.
Absolutely. I think S.W.A.T is something that appeals to people worldwide. One, because I think our cast, we have a really special group, and we've had a kind of this effortless chemistry from the very get-go, from the pilot. And that really shows on screen. And I think no matter where you live, no matter who you are, what your background is, everybody can relate to being part of a family or a team, having brothers and sisters. And that's really the feel that we have on the show. I think it's one of the reasons the show is successful. And then it's S.W.A.T. It's cool, it's fun, it's entertaining, it's kick-ass, and people gravitate to action, that edge of your seat excitement. We do some awesome stunts on the show, and it's some of our action sequences are very cinematic, and I think people love that.
And absolutely. But another thing too is, a lot of the characters on S.W.A.T, go through a lot. Like there are a lot of complex characters on S.W.A.T that go through a lot of things. It's an emotional roller coaster for a lot of characters. So then it becomes kind of like a lot of TV shows where it's a tale of two shows a little bit. For one aspect of it, it's about a SWAT unit and, like you said, the action and everything. And then the other end of things, it's not really about that. It's about life. It's about, these relationships and everything. Have you thought about, like, is that something that becomes evident? Do you find that these shows are just way more than just kind of like the SWAT unit? You guys are there, the SWAT team is there, but it's the focal point, but then there's a whole other kind of ball game happening with other things with your characters. I feel like that's a big thing right now too, David.
It's a beautiful blend. SWAT is a great blend of action and story. People love the action. They'll tune in for the action. I think they'll stick around for the stories
Yep.
and the characters. And that's the beauty of network television and getting, like I said, 100 episodes this season is that you really get to get into each and every one of the characters. We have 7 main characters. It's a lot of people on
Yeah,
this
it's an
cast.
ensemble cast, absolutely.
It's an ensemble cast, but over the course of 5 seasons, and our writers have done a fantastic job, you can really get into each and every one of the characters' lives, tell those stories, look into their personal lives, and it just rounds out the show in a really beautiful way.
100%. Just a general question for you right now. David Lim is a storyteller. That's what you do. You act, but if you look at the bigger scheme of things, you're a storyteller. That's what you do, basically. And it's an awesome thing, and it's so exciting. What excites you about being a storyteller?
Yeah, that's a great question. I haven't got that one. What excites me, one of the reasons I got into acting is, I saw how Asian American men were portrayed in television and film. And keep in mind, this is, over 10 years ago when I started this journey. So we were painted in a very specific and stereotypical way
Mm-hmm.
years ago. And, I said, man, there's more to us than what's being, painted in mainstream media. There's more to me than that. I want to get into this business, and man, I don't know if I can get an opportunity, but if I do, I would love to try to help change that narrative. And I think SWAT has done a great job of. I mean, they gave me an opportunity
Yep.
They added this character of Tan to the pilot, and I came in, and over the course of 4 or 5 seasons, we've really been able to tell some great stories. I wanted to make sure that we leaned away from any sort of stereotypes. And growing up, I never had that kind of like positive Asian role model action hero to look up to. And like I said, one of the great things about being a storyteller is now that next kid, that younger version of me, will have some version of that. And that means a lot to a lot of people out there.
Yeah, but that kind of goes back to what we were saying too about when we were talking about kind of what's amazing right now about storytelling is stories that weren't usually told are now being told, which I think
Right.
is something that you're kind of hitting on as well.
Yeah, and we've told some tough uh, stories on this show, and covered some topics that are sensitive subjects. Our writers do a fantastic job whenever they approach some of these topics, whether it be school shooting or Black
Yeah.
Lives Matter or suicide. They do it in a very honest and thoughtful uh, ways, and we do our best. We feel a great responsibility when we get a script like that. We want to bring it to life and do it uh, very honestly. And a lot of times we'll get such great feedback from people who have been affected by a school shooting, or who are affected by someone who's thinking about maybe committing suicide.
Yes.
And so that's another beautiful thing about storytelling. You're not going to solve anything in 42 minutes of television, but you can shine some light on it, and you can approach it from different perspectives.
And you also provide an escape. People are going through horrible times and there's a lot of outside noise and they get to put SWAT on CBS and it's an escape for them. You know what I mean? It's comforting. So in that
Yeah,
regard, I wanted to say to you and the cast and crew, thank you for providing the escapes that we really need these days. You know what I mean?
that means a lot. We're happy to do it. We're all very lucky to get to do this for a living, and something that we enjoy, and something that does affect people around the country or around the world in a positive way.
Absolutely. Before we wrap up too, season 5, I want to talk mainly on what we can expect this season. Obviously there's a lot of things you hope people get out of it when they watch SWAT. I think the whole interview kind of established the fact that this show has everything and has a lot kind of happening, right? If we dive to the current season right now, takeaway wise, when people get to watch it on CBS, what are you hoping they get out of it specifically?
Ooh, yeah, you asked some great questions, Peter. That signature action, I think it was tough for us to deal with some of it filming last year throughout COVID, because we had very strict protocols. So I feel our stories were beautiful in season 4. I'd love us to get back to that signature action in season 5, which we've already done. I mean, kicking the show off in Mexico.
Yep.
That was a movie. Coming back to LA, first 4 episodes have been a great run, introducing a brand new character, David Santos, who plays Sanchez, who's doing a kick-ass job, and then continuing to develop each and every one of these characters. I think it's great about SWAT is people have their favorite characters. Some people love, no, it's Hondo, no, it's Chris and Street. Oh my gosh, anything Chris and Street is just, we got to see where that goes. No, we love Tan, we love Deacon, and that's what's great. We have a extremely talented cast and a great writers group that's really bringing to the screen, new and innovative stuff and toys and technology. And so I hope season 5. I say this myself all the time, that each season is better than the last.
Yeah.
And I hope and believe that when people watch season 5, like, wow, that was the best season of SWAT to date.
That's amazing. David, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. I really enjoyed chatting with you.
Thank you, Peter. Likewise. Thanks for having me.
So, yeah, SWAT on CBS, they can catch it. And where can people follow you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
Oh, people can follow me at David Bradley Lim at all handles, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Amazing. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes, popternative.com for other content as well. Until next time, this is David Lim from SWAT and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.